Okay. Good morning, one and all. So as of today, we have given yesterday the assignment, 2 programs. One is to find second largest number out of 3 numbers. The second program was you have to write a single function to return both additional result as well as multiplication result. 48 students have done. So 1RX09, who is 09? I not mentioned your name. Sujit, Ashwini.
Boya Pawan.
Pawan. Oh, Pawan. Boya Pawan, you are writing. Good. Boya Pawan. Yeah.
Chandro,
No, sir, Sachin.
Hey, you should attend regularly.
Sachin,
Pawan, you should regularly attend. Because all these...
Okay, RX, Sachin AM. Sir, RX, Sachin AM, sir.
Sachin. Okay, Sachin. Suhas, Deepak.
RN Pawan, sir.
Pawan bandila ansatala, Boya Pawan. That is the problem with this guy. He is Sahana Bhatt, Samir, Harshita, Jayashri, Pooja, and Rashmi, Manjunath Gowda, Priyadarshini, Ashutosh, Rashmi, Chandrasekhar, Praveen Hegde, super. Chetan, Sushmita, yes, Lavanya, Sri Lakshmi, Vandana, Pallavi, Darshan, Manimala, Arpita, Suhas, Bhudevi, Ramya, and Deepa, Aishwarya PR, Deepak, okay, Arpita M, Shubha, Dinakar, Rashid Joshi, Yash Kumar, Raghavendra Devaraya Naik, Meghana, Vijay Kumar, Manimala, good, Akshay Ganapati, Rameshri Hegde. Rameshri, even tappu madidira nodili. This function should start with the colon here. Okay, colon kodಬೇಕು. Then you should indent it properly. It has to be indented. I think there is a problem. So Rameshri Hegde, I think she has done tried very well, but in a list alla helkottilla. List ildirane ಮಾಡಬೇಕು. Okay, Jayant, Sushma, most of you have done. I'm happy about the efforts you are putting, your learning efforts. Okay, so and one more thing, I think your CR might have given the website link. This is the site.google.com.
Sir, site link still I have not shared, sir.
Okay, please share it with your students. Okay, I have already shared. Okay, for testing purpose. I have shared with your CR. Okay, I think after testing, once everything is done, okay, user acceptance test has to be done, right? Once user accepts the test, then yeah, we can implement it. We can implement it. Yeah. Yeah. Right. And so it has about page and notes page. Yes, in the notes you want module 1, module 2, module 3 notes is already prepared. So actually there was a departmental level verification, so we did verification, so it is there. Okay, and ebooks, these are the ebooks where you don't get in anywhere. So these are the ebooks which are really fantastic ebooks. Data science, Scratch, okay, and introduction to Python. So learning Python, AI projects in Python. So if you can do 1 or 2 projects out of this, that's really fantastic. Web scraping, website scraping using Python PDF. So it is just like that we have, and assignment status also I will be updating every day. You can see the assignment status in your name. Okay, against your name it is loading. Against your name, assignment will be assignment points will be recording, and as you submit, you will get a point. That's automated system I have created. So as soon as you submit your assignment, you will get a point. Okay. So it is just like this. You can see 14th one I have not yet approved. Once I approve, automatically it will come. And this is the score, assignment score against each student. Okay, some students, they missed assignments. But if you want that missed marks also, you can certainly get it. You have to submit it and you have to inform and submit it, because I have to record it manually. Automated system will not recognize. Okay. So out of 9, some students have scored 9 out of 9. Some have scored 3, 4, 5, 8, 7 because they have not submitted. Some they have missed some assignments. So it is very important to have all these things. Right. Let us come back to the solution for today's assignment. So I have written a function add mul, which is taking 2 arguments a and b followed by colon, and since it is a method, this is a function. Sorry, it is a function. So what happens? Indentation gap will be maintained, and a, b, whatever the value that you are passing it to the function. So it has been added and stored as x, stored as y. The multiplied values are stored. Written x comma y. This is one of the unique feature of Python, where you can return multiple values, which is not possible in any programming language other than Python. Python is so unique. And whatever your values that you are returning, you can store it into individual variables. S for sum, P for product. So the X will come and store in sum, Y will store in P. So same, you are displaying. So 5 and 4 I am passing. So it is giving 5 plus 4, 9 in sum. 5 4s are 20 in here. And sum and product I am just displaying here. Just displaying. So same thing if I run the code. So you can see the output is displayed here. You can see here the output is displayed. Okay, it's the output. Sum is equal to 9 and product is equal to 5. So this is the console output that you are getting it. So this was the program for returning 2 values, and there was one more program, that is to find the second largest number. So for this second largest number out of 3 numbers, okay, or 3 tests. So you are calling the first number as T1, T2, T3. You're first adding all these test values or number values. In that you are removing the maximum value, you're removing the minimum value. If you remove maximum and minimum, the leftover is the second maximum or second minimum value. The same value you are storing into a max2, and same max2 has been displayed here. So if you run this again, it goes to a console, separate console. So 8, 5, and 3. If I give, so automatically 5, because you are removing the highest one, 8. You are removing the lowest one, that is 3. What is left is 5. So it is as simple as that. So that's about the execution of these 2 programs, the solution. Let us come back and move on to our next concept. Okay, these are the solutions to the assignment that I have shown. Okay, now program execution feature. Please write down one more program. Please write down, all of you, please write down. There is one more program where you have to, yeah, there is one more program where you have to write a Python program to convert the temperature from Fahrenheit to Celsius. This has been asked many times in the examination also. So that is the reason I am just, giving. Celsius is equal to F minus 32 into 5 by 9. So what is that you are writing in that function is you're defining the function def convert to Celsius is the name of the function, and you are passing Fahrenheit. So Fahrenheit you are passing, this has to be converted into Celsius. So what you are doing, you are converting Fahrenheit minus 32 into 5/9. You're doing the calculation and the returning value you're just giving. So if I pass 80, so what happens? 80 will be sent to Fahrenheit, and from Fahrenheit, so what happens? The returning value will be directly printed. So you will get 26.666 is the value. Yeah, 26.666 is the value. Now, yeah, Jayashree, please mute yourself. Yeah, please mute yourself. You talk. Yeah. Right. I think somebody by mistake, they might have done it. Okay, now the execution flow, how exactly the execution happens. So that is what you should understand. First step is it will create the definition. It will create the definition. First step. Second step is after defining the function, it will not be executed. That's all. It will be just notified, it will be executed. Second step, it will come back to the main program. So in the main program, you are asking the function, you're asking the function to execute by passing the value 80. Once you pass the value 80, so what happens? 80 will go to Fahrenheit. It will make a function call, and later the function will be calculated. The body of the function, the suit of the function is calculated, and finally the value gets returned. The returning value will be, straight away it is taken care, and once the return happens, rest of the program will execute. So many times they may ask like this, okay, write the Python program to convert so and so, and also write the steps of function execution in sequence. They may ask. So in that case, you have to write this way. And it's quite important, and it's very common, to ask such questions. And more oftenly, okay, another set of questions are asked in even technical round. How memory is allocated? Tracing the function call in memory model. How memory is modeled, or how exactly memory changes happens in the function. So let us take one simple example. Okay, you have a function def f. F is a function, and f takes one argument, that is x. F takes one argument, that is x. And inside the function, what you are doing, you are changing the value of x, that is x is equal to x into 2. And finally, you are returning the value. Initially, x value will be 1, and you observe very carefully. There are, variables with the same name x in the local form as well as in the global form. What is local variables? Local variables are those variables that are available inside the function. So here, x is a variable that is local. X is a variable that is local. And here you look at this variable is a global variable. It's a global variable, and it is operating. It is operating outside the function. So that is also named as x. That is also named as x. That means in the memory model, there are 2 copies of x has to be created. One within the function, one with outside the function. So for this, in order to trace this memory model, look at the first point. We will draw a separate box for each namespace to indicate that the variable inside are a separate area of computer memory. So that means you have a global memory space And inside the global memory space, you have the function. So f is defined inside it. So that means if you write f of x, so f is the function, and inside this you have a variable x, and what is the value that x holds is being recorded here, and what is that x holds outside the function is recorded here. Okay, so this is a functional space, namespace. This is a global namespace, and the programming world calls this box as a frame. So they call this namespace box as frame. So you may be getting a question, or in Viva they may ask you a question, what is a frame? So when they ask the question, what is a frame? So you are supposed to answer, okay, frame is nothing but, it is the memory representation or memory indication of the variables. It is the memory indication of variables. So we separate the frame from object in vertically dotted lines, of course. We'll see that in the next slide, how exactly it has been represented. So look at here. This is the frame and these are all the objects. So frames and objects are nothing but the variables and other components. Okay, when you create a function like this, and when you create a function call, here two function calls are being done, how exactly it happens? So your first pointer is moving in the first line of the code. So look at here, this is the pointer, this is the cursor pointer or control pointer where the actual program is supposed to be traced. And once it is traced, what happens? This is your frame shell. F is created. F is nothing but it is a function. It is creating a memory. Even function gets memory allocation. So that's one thing that you should always note. Function also gets memory allocation. Let me check this here. I take you to this. Okay, I just define a function f of x colon. I just press enter. So x is equal to 2 into x and return x. Done. A function is created. So now you can certainly check ID of f. So ID of f is so. That means even the function, whatever you are creating, it is acting like a variable, but function contains the executable code. So it is also been mentioned some memory location. It is also mentioned some memory location that is available. So the same thing it is representing here. Look at here, the same thing. So when you create a function gets memory allocation, and it is a part of Python shell, and it is having a memory address mapping, and inside the memory address mapping, the definition of the f of x is written. So the 3 lines or 4 lines, whatever you have written, it is written. And you observe here, this is ID1, its address, and it is of type function. F is a function, and inside this function, you have set of lines. So that is what you have to understand. Once this is done, next, it moves. The cursor moves to the next. It creates a variable x. So f is one object and x is another object. X is available in memory, that is ID2, some other memory ID2, and it is an integer. And you are assigning x value as 1. You are, x value as 1. So this is the initial condition. In the first line, what happened? So you created a function. Second line, you created a variable x, right? You have not made a function call. So for function also there is a memory allocation. For x also there is a memory allocation. For x also, for the variable x also, it's memory allocation. Now, what happens when the cursor or when the control moves to the next line? What happens? Let us see. When it moves to the next line, automatically what happens? Function call happens. Function call happens. So whenever there is a function call, so what happens? First, what it is doing, it is calling f of x plus 1. F of x plus 1 is nothing but x is already 1, 1 plus 1 is 2. 2 is passed to the function. So that x value inside the function, x variable inside the function is created, and id3, it is called id3, and it is getting the value 2 because x is 1, 1 plus 1 is 2. So the same value that has been recording here, it is shown here. Now x is equal to, next line what you are doing, x is equal to 2 into x. So you multiply this by 2 and you store it again. You store it again inside 2. So obviously what happens? So it converts the value into 4. So the original value is left as it is, and the returning value x is sent to 4. And this 4 will store it here. This 4 will store it here. And the expression continues. The second expression continues. So the second expression continues, and second expression that is f of x plus 2. Now x is 4, x is 1. The local variable x is 1. 1 plus 2 is 3. So 3 is being passed to the function. Now you see 3 is passed to the function, and 3 into 3 is 6. 3 into 3 is 6, and this 6 is written. So earlier already 4 was there. 4 plus 6, finally it was total was 10, and this 10 finally stored into the variable x. It is stored into variable x. This is how the tracing happens. So okay, thank you. Chandrasekhar is saying, sir, it is very clear. And he is also asking the questions the same way we should write it in examination when the question arrives. Yes, that's why I have given in the website the previous year question papers. You just see, they have asked the same question. They have asked, trace the function. Trace the function with memory model representation. It is very, very important. Today's class is very, very important for the point of examination. And not only that, you will understand how exactly internally the function call works. It's very, very important. Okay. It is functionally very, very important to understand this entire thing. And it has been asked many times in the examination. Fine. We'll move on to the another type of function. Another type of function called keyword arguments. Keyword arguments is a special feature of function. Okay, where you can give keyword arguments are related to the function call. Normally what happens when you use keyword arguments, the function in the function call, the caller identifies the argument by the parameter name. So for example, you just take a function. Let me consider a function. Okay, let me consider a function def. I just create a function. Maybe I call it as add. Okay, I give it as a comma b. So this is the function, and you write it in tab space, some blah blah blah, you write it something, and in tab space you write something, and finally you return. This is a function. Okay, you have written. Whenever you make a function call to this function, so always you give add 5 comma 6. You just give. So when you give like this, automatically the first argument will always go and sits in A, and second argument always goes and sits in B. It always goes and sits in B. Sometimes you are fed up. Why I should give always the first argument as A? I will give second argument. I'll make second argument as A. So in that case, what you can do is very simple. While calling the function add, you can certainly write B is equal to 7 and A is equal to 5. So when you write A is equal to 5, B is equal to 6, automatically what happens? Even though the order changes, the value B gets 6 and value A gets 5. Value A gets 5. So 5 you will store like this. This is a feature. This is a feature which you call it as keyword argument. This is a feature you call it as keyword argument. Okay. The caller identifies the argument by the parameter name. Yes. Here caller is identifying the parameter to 6 as B and 5 as A. So you have an option. You have an option to check. You have an option to change. That is the beauty of Python. That is the power of Python, I can say. Okay, that's the power of Python. So this allows to skip arguments or place them the order of out of order. So you can certainly avoid the same order out of order because Python interpreter is able to use the keyword provided to match the values with the parameters. You can also make keyword calls in the print time function. So probably I can show you an example which I have already prepared. So while explaining, I gave one example. Another example probably I'll show here. Look at here. Name, print, name, age. Whatever it is doing, name is name, age is age. Now, what you can do, you can make a function call according to your choice. Always you did not have to give name first argument and age as second argument. So you want to interchange, yes, you can change it. Age is equal to 50, name is equal to Mickey. Yes. So Mickey Mouse, we have seen, right, when we were small. Especially I enjoyed Mickey Mouse and Tom and Jerry very much. So those was a cartoon heroes during my child time. So Mickey age was 50. Yeah, I just gave one simple example. Yeah, Chandru, you have
sir,
something to say?
It is not required to write semicolon after return statement, no, sir.
No, pa. No semicolon is mandatory, but if you write, it will not say no. Normally, if you write semicolon, you can continue 2 statements in one line. 2 statements, you can write it in one line. So it is the same as the C. Okay, there is nothing wrong in writing semicolon. Okay, of course, by C programming practice, we write, or Java programming practice, we write semicolon at the end of each statement. So that's the reason I have written it. Okay, that's it. Okay, with respect to keyword function. So here keyword is nothing but the word that represents the argument name. That word represents the argument name. So the advantage is you need not have to stick on to the same order. You can change the order, you can write. Okay. So that's the thing. Next, default arguments. You can give default arguments. Just like in C++, you are writing, right? Default arguments. So if you don't pass any argument, automatically what happens? The default value will be taken as it is. As it is. Look at this first function call. Since you have already learned default arguments, so I'm not going much deep into this. Default argument is the argument that assumes the default value if the value is not provided in the function call for that particular argument. So here age is equal to 35 I have given. So that means if you don't give age also, no problem. By default value is 35 only. So here age is equal to 50, name is equal to Mickey. Yes. In this case, 50 will go on to change 35 age and it will be displayed here. It will be displayed here. And Mickey is the name that you have given for this name. Yes. You are used the default arguments in this example as well as the keyword. Default arguments as well as keyword you have used. Next line, next function call, what are you doing? Name is equal to Mickey, but default value you have not specified. In this case, the default value is remained as 35 only. It remains as it is 35, but name is Mickey. Name is Mickey. So you can give both default values. You can give two default values. It is possible. So, the order of the arguments, you can change, you can give default arguments. So that's really fantastic. That's really fantastic concept that I would like to, give. Okay. Now, I'll give you one small assignment. Assignment for today is, okay, I'll just write it on the screen. Assignment for today is, you have to, give one function example, okay, that demonstrates what do you call the default arguments and keyword functions. And note very carefully, you should not use the same example that I have shown here. Okay, do not use the same example okay, that has been used in the class. So you have to give a different example. You have to give different example other than what I have used in the class. Is that right? Okay. Probably that's it for today's class. Have a wonderful day. So every day I'll be just noting down your assignment, your attendance, monitoring. But I don't know, this time, if you don't attend properly, if your attendance is less, definitely you don't get very good internal assessment marks. And daily assignments you have to submit. That is a mandatory component to decide your internal assessment marks, along with your internals you have to write, plus you have to write the assignments you have to submit. Every day we are giving assignment, so all these things are very, very important. Never skip. That's what I would like to suggest. And that's all for today's class. And anybody has any doubt, you can certainly rise up. CR, please note down the attendance, and let me know the attendance status. Okay. Any doubts? 2 minutes. Any doubts? If you have any doubts, you can rise. Okay. And moreover, I expect all of you to take up the NPTEL course, NPTEL course, as well as Coursera courses. So at your free time, utilize that and learn, keep learning. So how much you learn now, it will definitely help you next year when you sit with placements. So that's all for today's class. Thank you. Okay. Any specific doubt, you are free to ask. Okay. I'm open for the doubts, and of course, this entire thing is assignment. Yeah, it's an assignment. Right. So any doubts, you can certainly ask. Or else, I'm done with today's class. You can leave the class. Thank you. Bhumika ಬರ್ತಾ ಇದ್ದೀರಾಮ ಕ್ಲಾಸ್ಗೆ? she left. Okay. Jayant, Pawan, Praveen Hegde, Samir Kulkarni, ಎಲ್ಲರೂ ಬಂದಿದ್ದಾರೆ. Regular, all students are regular except a few. Nirup ಬಂದಿಲ್ಲ ಅಲ್ಲ? Nirup has got some serious problem. Network issue na, ಅಥವಾ I don't know whether he is pretending. Yes. Okay. Other students, you are still. Logout ಅಂದಿದ ತಕ್ಷಣ ಎಲ್ಲರೂ ಲಾಗೌಟ್ ಆಗಬೇಕು. ಐ ಥಿಂಕ್ ವಂದನಾ, ಆರ್ ಯು ದೇರ್? ನೋಡಿ, ಆನ್ ಮಾಡಿ ಹೊಟ್ಟೋಗಿರ್ತಾರೆ, ಎಲ್ಲ ಹೊಟ್ಟೋದ್ರು. ಸುಷ್ಮಾ, ಶ್ರೀಲಕ್ಷ್ಮಿ, ರಾಘವೇಂದ್ರ, ರಮೇಶ್ ಶ್ರೀ ಹೆಗಡೆ, ಹೆಸರು ಹೋಗ್ತಾ ಇದ್ದಂಗೆಲ್ಲ ಸೈನ್ ಔಟ್ ಆಗ್ಬಿಡ್ತಾರಲ್ಲ. ಚಂದ್ರು ಹೊಟ್ಟೋಗಿದ್ದಾರಾ? ಯಾ, okay. That's all for today's class. I'll end the meeting.